Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four movie review. Welcome back to Screen Fiend. I am Carcino, of course. Let's have this discussion. The Cash App is Carcino here. Thought you should meet Herbie. Look, Herbie's got his little button to press. Store devices up in Herbie. Popcorn go in the back. Now the Galactus one of this is definitely out of the question. Now, Herbie. Look what Herbie can do. Now, what is the stasis or stasis of this? Well, it comes down to a variation of different things. Now, if we look at just the movie standpoint, it was very good as a movie. It flowed well, which means that it wasn't a ton of action in the movie. It was just enough to keep you satisfied. It's like somebody take you out to eat and you eat dinner, right? You eat enough so you're not hungry. You don't eat till you're stuffed. This was a setup movie to get you ready for what's to come. Ain't that right, Herb? So this was the last one into Doomsday, the last Marvel movie. Ain't that right here? Take Herbie's head off for a minute and have a sip from Herbie's head. So, without spoiling anything for you, because there might be some people that hadn't seen the movie just of yet. The consensus is very clear. And while the consensus is very clear, they've only been the Fantastic Four for 4 years. They fought all these villains that just came up out of the ground, all the classic villains. It was a great intro. The first 5 minutes is exciting. You get to see Mr. Fantastic be Mr. Fantastic. You get to see everybody in their element. Now, what changes here is that this is different contrast of an action movie. This one has a actual script that actually makes sense. Where Superman was all over the place. It was like script. Who cares about script? So this one had a lot more grit. You got to see. This is what I wanted from Mr. Terrific. I wanted to see how brilliant he really was. Here you got to see the brilliance of Reed Richards, and it was in the character form of what Reed Richards is. He can't help it. He thinks worst case scenario. He thinks of how to solve these scenarios. But there was an editing flaw in the movie. I mean, CGI was great, except for a couple scenes. But other than that, story wise, it was concise. And it was built on, trust of characters. And they didn't really dwell into the personal dilemmas between Johnny and him just being an eccentric above everybody else because he's the wild playboy philanthropist. We didn't go into too much of the silliness. It was some humor, but not too much of the silliness of Johnny. It was done with a subtlety. So this was more not for like little kids. This was more of an adult type of MCU movie. So little kids might be watching the Fantastic Four. I doubt it, but this was definitely for the adults. Now, I give it 3.5 stars out of 4. Like I said, it's not action packed. Like if you saw Superman and went into this is like put on some easy listening jazz compared to that film. But you were drawn in for the first time you saw Galactus when them eyes lit up. Poof, and he started to speak. Them trying to escape Galactus and the Silver Surfer. Yeah, it's been pretty interesting. What works for the film is a lot because most directors are afraid to make movies like this because everybody wants Rock'em Sock'em Robot, which is what Superman is. But here, they weren't afraid to show you the character differences and the acting. My goodness. It was such great dramatic acting that you needed Pedro Pascal to be able to pull this off. Uh, yes, I was quite amazed with how they were able to perform on duty and put together a movie. To me, that was fabulous. As far as visual, it's put together on a scale that I would say is very watchable. I will watch it again. Um, but my only problem that I really had with this film as the connection of, would you want to sacrifice your child, for everyone else, and the people are saying, stop being selfish, sacrifice your child so that we can move. It's like, would you sacrifice your child for the whole world? It's like, no, it's not gonna happen. What's up, young Hollywood? I see you. So after that fact, they decided to take trips, go into different spaces, and we saw those spaces were not usually, accustomed for them. Didn't really benefit them in a way that they thought, you know, being in that space would benefit them. My thing is, here's the thing that I felt was an error that was put in the film that I said, I'm going to have to watch this again and see if I missed something because I don't think I did. And I don't think anybody else caught it either. How did they know Galactus, who they saw, was this outstanding giant? How did they know Galactus could walk on Earth? Know his dynamic, diameters for their project to work. The Thing's voice, I didn't have a problem with the Thing. I didn't have a problem with his beard. I didn't have a problem with none of it. I don't think the Fantastic Four was a problem. My thing is, they said in order they had to bring Galactus out of his ship, basically. I mean, how did they know Galactus could get out of his ship and that he could be able to come to? It was like, I mean, literally, it was just like, we got to bring Galactus out of his ship. Next thing you know, Galactus comes up down on Earth, and it was like he was on the grounds in New York, and it was like, how? Like, how is this possible? Well, Mole Man was funny. Basically, the guy who's playing Stingray from Cobra Kai playing the same role as Mole Man. He was great. Um, yeah, it's typical. Oh no, his performance as Reed Richards was excellent. If I wanted, it's the best Reed Richards performance we ever had. It's not saying a lot, but it's the best Reed Richards performance we ever had. Now, is it the best Fantastic Four movie? Overall consensus, yes, it is. Is it because the best one is the first one, the F4, until this one. Now, the first movie had way more action, had way more comedy, um, totally different type of film. It was more light, more entertaining. This was much more of a serious nature, more gripping than anything. It has a few comedic lines, but mostly adult theme. like teenagers on up. No little kid. Not that they couldn't watch it. I don't think they'll be interested as much. Well, it's supposed to be a lot of talking. It's called dialogue setup. You have to trust the movie. And right now, in this day and age, everybody's on TikTok. They want everything quick, 60 seconds. They can make the movie 34 minutes. They would love it. Man, I'm going to see it again, dude. This was the greatest half hour ever. They need to make all movies like this. You know, everybody wants it quick, 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 quick. Everything's got to be quick, got to be fast. But no, this was a real robot in the movie, not CGI. They actually had a robot that they built that did all the stuff for her. So definitely 3.5 stars out of 4 for the Fantastic Four. And we're out. Go see it. We'll do a spoiler review later, but I have to go back and watch it again myself when I return back home because I want to see what did I miss. And there were some scenes in the trailers that is not in the movie. So on that note, yeah, we're out.